Kimmy Henderson, accidental art activist.
Can you tell me a little bit about your own mental health journey?
Yeah, I was not diagnosed until I was 35. Um, I'm bipolar 1 with anxiety disorder and PTSD. And I struggle with manic episodes and depressive episodes, which looking back, I can see through my artistic career, the highs and lows. I recognize, when I had heightened states and when I had lower states.
Yeah, I
Um,
was 37 when I was diagnosed with bipolar disorder too, so I was in the older range as
yeah.
well.
You know what I've read? That second boost of adults who get diagnosed are either highly intelligent or highly creative, and our brains can like cope with the experience before, while we're younger.
Well, that definitely makes sense for you because of
The
your
creative, yes.
yes, the
Oh yeah,
creative,
mine is
yes.
not the intelligent, it is the creative.
But what inspired you to create your organization?
So I originally built my brand, my business is called Makiki's Art, which is Mama and Aunt Kiki mushed together.
Yeah.
And I painted custom wine glasses. Excuse me. And with the help of social media, I went from selling locally to shipping worldwide. And I was offered the opportunity to sell with a national brand store. Business was booming. Everything was going great before I had my first major manic episode. Derailed everything. Lost the will to paint for a while, struggled with depression. However, during that first episode, I painted a butterfly, and butterflies represent metamorphosis, and self growth. But for some reason that I can only explain or attribute, is my manic brain made the left side dripping away. And later I recognized how well it represents mental illness, how on one side we're trying to show our best beautiful self, even if we're crumbling on the inside. So I shared that with my Makiki's Art audience, and I was overwhelmed with the response. People just reaching out and being supportive and appreciating me being open about my journey. And I was painting a series due to their popularity when I heard a statistic that the number two cause of death for 10 to 34-year-olds is suicide. I had a 10 and a 13-year-old at the time, and I decided I want to use this design to make change.
What are
And
some of the things you've learned from your kids?
oh my, well, I recognize that you can watch for stuff, but there's no way of knowing for sure. Actually, my daughter's concerned because they've experienced 6 major manic episodes. I was hospitalized at one point, and my daughter's concerned that she's going to have a struggle with it. And I'm trying to teach her that even if she does, it's manageable, it's livable, with therapy and medicine. It doesn't have to disrupt your life as much as it did mine. Now we're aware of, the what's the word I'm looking for? The factors that cause it. And I know my personal triggers, and I can watch for that, and we know what to look for. So I'm hoping that they don't struggle with it. But if they do, we can manage.
What does painting make you feel?
Oh, it is a creative outlet. Um, as silly as it sounds, I like to play sad music and cry when I paint. It's cathartic for me. And it's an outlet for emotion. And um, for me, now that I paint for a reason, to raise awareness, it's just rewarding for one. And I just really enjoy doing it.
Yeah, what has some of the feedback been?
Oh, I have been very blessed. Lots of positive. People reach out to me and thank me for being brave and share that they have loved ones going through this. And this is opening up their view of the experience and recognizing what people go through. And that's what I want to change, because it shouldn't be brave. It should be normal to talk
Yeah.
about our experiences. So it's been very positive.
Yeah, with that, that actually is a good point with, it should be just a normal thing
Oh,
of,
yeah.
everyone goes through emotion, so it
Yeah.
shouldn't be that
I
different.
mean, it's normal to say I'm diabetic and my body needs medicine. It should be normal
Yeah.
to say I'm bipolar and my brain needs medicine.
But I'm with you where I talk to people and they do say, like, once I share my story, they say, "Oh, I have family member or
Yeah.
friend going through a mental illness." Uh, you touched on a little bit, but do you get that a lot as well?
Oh, I do, especially with the public art installations. A lot of they're interactive, so a lot of
Yeah.
people will pose in front of them and then share on social media, and a lot of them will share. I encourage people to share tidbits of their experience, whether it's loved ones, because we know 1 in 5 adults are affected by mental illness, and that's a lot of families and friends and coworkers and spouses and children that have to deal with it too.
What do you do to help your own mental health?
Uh, well, create, obviously.
Yeah.
I get inspired to paint, but I spend a lot of time outdoors. I live near the Cuyahoga Valley National Park in Northeast Ohio, so I am fortunate to have a lot of experience and trails to get outside because it clears my mind and inspires me for art. And I really encourage people to try to, get your vitamin D and get your activity in because I think it helps.
How important is it to work on your physical and mental health together?
Oh, I mean, if you think about the correlation, anybody going through any physical illness
Yeah.
directly affects our mental illness. You got to stay positive and you got to stay hopeful. And like I have stuff at different behavioral health centers, and I have a piece at a cancer awareness or a cancer um, help center. And a lot of people reach out to me and say that this is helps them stay positive. Like it's an inspiring piece of work that makes them happy to see. And I love when people share the pictures and the images in their story. It's very rewarding.
What motivates you?
Definitely what started all this was making change for my predisposed children and
Yeah.
their entire generation. And whether they're affected or not, their future spouse and friends and coworkers. And like I said, just other people that might affect them someday. And we know statistically speaking, everything's kind of getting worse. And there's a lot of scary statistics. Like 50% of adults don't get treatment for different reasons, whether it's the stigma or insurance or lack of providers. But there is one statistic I think we can make tangible change, and that's the 11-year average gap between onset of symptoms and treatment. I think that's definitely fixable or adjustable at least.
Yeah. I know for me, I'm getting all the treatment I need and I have a good support system with my wife and kids, but I always think about them because they're going through the same thing. So, how important is it for your support system to have a support system?
Oh, absolutely. Well, I am blessed with an ocean of support also. Friends and family, my community, everybody. My audience is very supportive. I have so much support and advocacy to keep me on
Yeah.
track and keep me in therapy and keep me on my medication. And they're my gauge. Like they notice when I'm elevated before I do. And knowing that so many people out there don't have that is, I don't know how they do it. And I think that's where substance abuse and crime and violence and homelessness and suicide and all these things that are due to unchecked mental health because people don't have that advocacy. And again, I really hope that's something we can change.
What would you say to anyone going through a tough time?
Well, if they don't have the support that they need personally, or if a lot of people reach out to me and say, my loved one's going through this, what do I do? One of the beautiful sides of social media, I know there's a lot of negative, but there is a lot of support out there.
Yeah.
On Facebook, you can search any kind of illness support and you'll find multiple groups and that you can join to hear other stories and learn what people are doing. So I definitely think Googling and searching for online groups is helpful. And there's often local community groups you can join. Um, but for loved ones going through it, I think they need to find support to learn how to deal with it themselves and how to help our loved ones. Because not only have I experienced the mental illness side myself, sorry, stay down. I have experienced how hard it is to try to help loved ones. It can feel helpless, and you really have to stick with it and, go at it with different uh, angles to try to help people sometimes.
Where do you want to see your mission, say, in the next 3 to 5 years?
Oh, goodness. So I have around Northeast Ohio, I have like 35, I've had 35 installations. My dream is to pan out to other states. I would love to get one in every state capital, actually, to be honest, across the country. And one thing I really want to do is I want to make this project, I want to establish it into a foundation where it can raise money and funding to supply grants for other artists to do installations. And I've done community workshops with groups of all ages. And I would love to be able to help fund art therapy programs and, yeah, installations and community workshops all over. Because even if I could do all of these things where I want, I literally can't do it all by myself. I'm hoping to get a team to help me.
And I'm based in Virginia, so a lot of my mental health stories I talk to people in Virginia. But actually, the second state that I get the most stories from is Ohio. So,
Oh,
what?
especially in Northeast Ohio, where I
Yeah,
am, we have a very unique ecological system. We have more cloudy days than Seattle. Maybe not rain, but I don't know if it's the valley and the Lake Erie. But I think Northeast Ohio really struggles with depression just due to our weather. We don't get enough sunshine.
but it's good that there's a lot of people there open to talk about
Yes.
mental health as well.
Oh, I mean, we're in a good age where, I mean, you have celebrities and
Mm.
athletes and influencers and politicians, and a lot of people are advocating for mental health. And
Yeah.
my goal is actually for the bipolar butterfly to be a visual symbol to raise awareness. And I compare it to the pink ribbon for breast cancer, because I think if we had a visual to channel, you know, all of these things, because October's drenched in pink and June is covered in rainbows, and it's all about community and fostering solidarity. And I would love for May to be bipolar butterflies because, for example, all the funding that the pink ribbon has raised for breast cancer, the death toll is steadily going down, which is amazing. It's working prevention. I believe it was last year over 42,000 people died of breast cancer. However, last year over 50,000 people died of suicide, and there was like 1.6 million attempts of suicide. And these are just records that that's not including all the undiagnosed, like all the ones that aren't accounted for. So even research alone, we need to do more research, because psychology, as you're aware, it's just hard to measure. Everyone's so different,
Yeah.
and even the way they diagnose it, you have to have so many symptoms for so much amount of time to be qualified, to be diagnosed this or that. And it's just hard. There's a lot more research and resources needed to try to help curb and close that 11-year gap.
How can people reach out and learn more?
Well, for the Bipolar Butterfly Project, I have a website, www.bipolarbutterflyproject.com. And my Instagram and Facebook handles are Bipolar Butterfly Project. Um, I love doing interviews, like I love talking to you. I'm very open about my story. I'm very transparent about my personal journey. And I hope to give people courage, to not be afraid to share theirs.